The next one is Auditor General. Under Auditor General, these are the subtopics that we should take note, which is terms and conditions, responsibilities and duties, nature and scope of work, powers and secrecy. The first one is terms and conditions. The Auditor General's powers have been strengthened and his responsibilities are broadened with the force of the Audit, which is Amendment Act 1978 and 1983. In accordance with Section 3 of the Audit Act 1957, the Auditor General, or also can be known as Ketua Audit Negara, shall be deemed to be an officer of the General Public Service of the Federation and as is otherwise provided in the Federal Constitution and under this Act. The law for the time being in force relating to the public service of the Federation and to members thereof shall apply to him. In accordance with the Article 105 of the Federal Constitution, the Auditor General is appointed by Yang di-Pertuan Agong on the advice of Prime Minister and after the consultation with the Conference of Rulers. He is eligible for reappointment but not for any other appointment in the service of federal or state. The Federal Constitution also states that the Auditor General may at any time resign but shall not be removed from the office except on the like grounds and in the like manner as a judge of the Federal Court. His remuneration is provided by the Parliament and charged on the Consolidated Fund under Article 98 and shall not be altered to his disadvantages after his appointment. According to Section 4 of the Audit Act 1957, his remuneration is being explained in the first and second schedule. The terms and conditions of service of the Auditor General shall be determined by the Yang di-Pertuan Agong subject to the provisions of federal law. The next one is responsibilities and duties. In accordance with Article 106 of Federal Constitution, the Auditor General is responsible to audit and certify the appropriation and other accounts of government, to report the result of audit to Yang di-Pertuan Agong, state rulers who will cause it to be laid in Parliament or state legislature. The Auditor General also is responsible to enhance the standard of public accountability and by reporting and providing an assurance to the Parliament and state legislatures through a timely and accurate reporting of the government's financial statements and the proper management of resources. The duties of the Auditor General are being explained in Section 5, Subsection 1 of the Audit Act 1957, in which he shall examine, inquire and audit the following, which is the first one is the accounts of the Federation and the states. The second one is the accounts of any separate fund established in a state or the federal territory under Article 97 subsection 3 of the Federal Constitution. The third one is the accounts of any public authority or body so provided by law, and where it is not provided by law, at the request of that authority or body and with the consent of the Minister of Finance, to be notified in the Gazette. The fourth one is the accounts of any other body, including a company registered under the Companies Act in receipt of public grant or loans and including also a company where more than half of its paid-up share capital is held by the federation or the state or a public authority. The last one is the accounts of any other public authority upon the request by the Minister of Finance in the interest of the public. It is therefore mandatory for the Auditor General to conduct the financial audit in order to certify the financial statements of the Federation, states and other public authorities and public bodies as required by the law. With the amendment to the Audit Act 1983, the Auditor General is now empowered to conduct the performance audit of the programs and activities of all the entities subject to his audit. The next one is nature and scope of audit work. The Audit Act 1957 sets out in broad terms the nature of audit of the Auditor General, consistent with the aim to promote and enhance the standards of public accountability. As laid in Section 6 of Audit Act 1957, the nature and scope of audit work of the Auditor General include ascertaining and ensuring whether all reasonable precautions have been taken to safeguard the collection and the custody of public money. Payments were made in accordance with proper authority, properly charged and supported by sufficient vouchers or proof of payments. Due care has been taken into account to ensure proper use, control, maintenance and disposal of all public stores. All accounts and other records have been and are properly and faithfully maintained. Monies have been applied accordingly for which they were appropriated or authorized, and the related activities have been managed in an efficient manner with due regards for economy and avoidance of waste or extravagance. And the last one is the provisions of Federal Constitution and of the Financial Procedure Act 1957 and any other written law have been complied with. The next one is powers. The Audit Act 1957 confers a wide scope of powers to the Auditor General in discharging his duties. In particular, Section 7 of the Act states that the Auditor General has these following powers, which is the first one is Auditor General has powers to obtain any explanation and information required by him in order to carry out proper audit. The Auditor General also may, without payment of any fee, cause search to be made in and extracts to be taken from any book, document in any public office. Auditor General also can access to all records, vouchers, documents, cash, stamps, securities, stores and other properties subject to his audit. He or she also may call upon any person under oath or affirmation to furnish any explanation or information which he may require. Auditor General also is empowered to delegate his powers and may authorize any person he deems competent to conduct an audit on his behalf and under his direction. The last one is Auditor General has the power to obtain the advice of a law office upon any legal matters. The last one is secrecy. It is the duty of the Auditor General to maintain the secrecy of information gathered in relation to his audit responsibilities. Accordingly, Section 8, Subsection 3 of the Audit Act 1957 states that neither the Auditor General nor any other person shall divulge or communicate except in the course of duty to another person performing duties under this Act. Consistent with the independence position of the Auditor General in discharging his duties, Section 8 of the Audit Act 1957 supersedes any secrecy provision contained in any other laws except to the extent any such law specifically excludes the operation of this section.
The next segment is audit report, which similar to audit report of corporate financial statement. Auditors issue reports that contain their opinion and conclusion regarding the extent of compliance of the audited activities or events with the applicable predetermined standards. Section 9, subsection 1 of the Audit Act 1957 stated that it supports the provision required by the Section 16 of Financial Procedure Act 1957, where all accounts of government have to be prepared and transmitted to the Auditor General for his examination, audit, and also preparation of reports. The reports of the Auditor General are to be submitted to the Yang di-Pertuan Agong and to be laid before the Parliament on the advice of the Prime Minister after consultation with the Conference of Rulers. This is empowered in Article 107 of the Federal Constitution. As for the audit report of the state and other related public authorities, it is to be submitted to the state ruler or Yang di-Pertuan Negeri and to be laid before the Legislative Assembly. Auditor General may also at any time submit a report to the Yang di-Pertuan Agong or the ruler of the state upon urgent matters arising in the course of discharging his duties. If the financial statement is not received 7 months after the close of financial year, the Auditor General may submit report to Parliament or State Legislative Assembly. These are the types of report produced by Auditor General. The first one is public account statements and financial management of federal government ministries or department. The second one is activities of federal government or department and federal government management companies. The third one is financial statements and financial management of state department or agency. The fourth one is activities and special research of state department or agencies. The last one is financial management of federal statutory bodies. As stated in the section 9 subsection 4 of the Audit Act 1957, if any serious irregularities have occurred, he shall immediately bring the matter to the notice of the Secretary General to the Treasury or State Financial Authority. An Auditor General may also make recommendation and comments upon all matters relating to public accounts, public monies, and stores. As stated in the Section 9, subsection 6 of the Audit Act 1957, further specifies that the Auditor General may submit a certificate and observation on special funds such as zakat, fitrah, and also the Baitul Mal. In addition, Section 9, subsection 7 of the Audit Act 1957 states that Auditor General may present his certificate and observation upon those accounts to the heads of those authorities on any matter, which in his opinion requires immediate attention. Next, I will explain about the Public Accounts Committee, which called as PSC. It is one of the parliamentary committee with the responsibility of being the parliamentary watchdog over public monies. In other words, the committee plays a key role in public sector accountability. It examines the government's use of resources and agencies' financial operations. It also looks at financial probity and regularity and focus on whether the agency programs are achieving their aims. The House of Representatives appoints the PSC at the earliest possible time after the beginning of each parliament session and comprise between 6 to 12 members drawn from the major parties represented in the parliament. PSC is to assist the House of Representatives in inquiring into financial matters of the government. So this committee is empowered by the Standard Order 77 subsection 5 of the Standing Ordinance and also the section 10 of the House of Parliament. The Standing Order provides the Public Accounts Committee with the power to and responsibilities on the following matters. The first one, the accounts of the Federation and the appropriation of the sums granted by the Parliament to meet public expenditure. The second one is such accounts of public authorities and other bodies administering public fund as made to be laid before the Parliament. The third one is reports of the Auditor General laid before the Parliament in accordance with Article 107 of the Federal Constitution. And the last one, such other matters as the committee may think fit or which may be referred to the committee by the Parliament. Generally, the main objective of PSC is to ensure that there is a proper accountability of funds by public officials. This committee will examine the auditor's report pertaining to whether the expenditures overrun the authorized limit and whether monies appropriated are not spent in accordance with approved rules and also the regulations. Besides that, PSC will also examine as to whether individual programs achieve its objective and whether the value of money is being obtained in the government's spending. The key function of PSC are as follows: to ensure that the money spent are in accordance with the purposes and programs as in the approved budget. Then, to monitor the public officials exercise the spending of money in the most effective and efficient manner. The third one is to maintain high standards of public accountability in all matters. Then, to assist the House of Representatives in inquiring into financial matters of the government. The last one is to highlight the main areas which may require notice of the entire House of Representatives to debate and act. These are the other challenges to auditor. The first one is transitional period, which moving towards OBB and accrual accounting. Accordingly, public sector auditors must concurrently enhance their level of knowledge and expertise on the new budgeting and accounting system to be introduced in order for them to be at par with the national development. This is important for them and that it acts as part of their preparation and training for their future audit. Thus, proper and adequate training and development scheme need to be established in every public sector organization. The next one is increased use of ICT. The implication of IT evolution means that auditors need sufficient training and development in ensuring high understandings concerning the risks associated with the electronic system and also the controls appropriate to manage those risks. Apart from that, they also need to be familiar with relevant information security regulations and be able to recognize and understand the system. Evaluation controls must also be strong. And the third one is expanding demands for new types of audit. Along with the development of control and monitoring framework and practice, there is an increased need for new types of audits. For instance, performance or VPM audit, which VPM is value for money, and then the environmental audit and social audit are amongst the new audit expected to be carried out. This development provides a signal to all public sector organizations to cope and improve their internal audit structures, thus develop proper training and development plans for their audit staff. The last one is inadequate number and relative competence of audit personnel. Many of the public sector organizations are facing problems in the shortage of audit staff, hence limit audit scope and coverage. At the micro level, respective public sector organizations must therefore hire more audit staff in supporting the need of their internal audit division. Top management support and adequate allocation of resources must also be in place. And for this reason, the importance of audit staff is then acknowledged. As for the macro level, efforts and initiatives have to be made in improving the efforts relating to human capital development.